Hi, it's me, CryptoKid, made over 5,000x in crypto. Now I'm documenting my journey for everyone that wants to learn more. So I shared this post a few days ago in my X account and I got a comment from one of the followers, and I want to address exactly the argument that we had back and forth so you can understand how some people thoughts and process of thinking actually sends them to the wrong direction and never makes them achieve their goal. So I shared this post and I said that in the past two cycles we have always seen Bitcoin dominance touch at least 70% before alt season started. So this is something that I've observed, and it happened in 2017, happened in 2021. Now the comment is this: you were saying alt season is near the corner for 1.5 years, and now you say alt season starts when Bitcoin dominance goes to 70%. No lower rates will happen at any time soon. They're late, they'll panic cut, which will cause a recession, no alt season due to deflation. So here's what I said, and it's a very important thing that you can learn from this video. So I want to watch this carefully and understand all what I'm saying, because it's one of the most important aspects that no one in social media is telling you. I said it's easy to judge something without understanding the context and to read whatever post fits your bias and miss the full picture. So what the guy is saying here is something that he just read this and probably watched a voice note that I shared 5 months ago without watching what I shared 4 months and understood how I operate. Here's why it's so important. I've made clear since the beginning of the bull run that my position is simple: buy the right altcoins and sell at the top of the cycles. There are things that I get wrong on predicting too, but I'm not perfect, and I also have shared a long market breakdown video, which since March this year in my free Telegram explain where the market is headed, basically to show where my how I operate and why I operate like this. So here's a very important thing, and I want you to pay attention to this and to read this carefully and to listen to me carefully. I said, I choose to be wrong while being wrong costs me only to wait a bit more, rather than try to be right, then risk to miss life-changing opportunities. This is very important because I might have been wrong on what I said here. For example, I might have said that alt season would come 2-3 months ago, right? And I've been wrong for that, and I admit it. Like, there are things that as an investor you will not get it right, and it's all normal. Like, no one in this investing game is perfect. No one actually is perfect that doesn't make any mistakes. Mistakes are all part of the game. But here's my thoughts about it. I choose to be wrong while being wrong costs me only to wait a bit more, rather than try to be right than to risk life-changing opportunities. If I think alt season will be, let's say, in the next 2-3 months, and I'm wrong, while it takes 6 months, so let it be. But my position is clear and it's focused on being right on the moves that matters the most. This is something that if you understand how I operate, you know how to utilize the content I share. So the average investor thinks that you gotta be right on everything that you say. Oh, you said this and that's it. Like, no one is right on everything that they say, and I'm also wrong on many things that I say. But the smart investor and the investor that is experienced choose to be right on things that matters the most. For example, if I predict here that in the chart a lot of dips, right, but I miss a coin and it goes 100x, at the end of the day I didn't win anything because I just predicted some short-term dips, right, while I missed the bigger picture. Or it's like the guys that are like Peter Schiff, or the guys that are bearish and they called for a recession since 2015 and the recession never came. But these guys, if a recession comes today, they will be like, look man, I told you so, I was right. But those guys forget that for the past 10 years, they missed Bitcoin, they missed Ethereum, they missed stocks that did crazy numbers. So you're not smart by predicting one move right or a few moves right. You're not smart. You're a successful investor if you're right on things that matter the most. So if Bitcoin today is 106 and I say tomorrow that it's gonna dump at 90 and I'm wrong, judging me for that, it's something that, yeah, you might say that, but I might be wrong on that, but I might be right on something that I say that, look, this coin got 100x potential and I'll do that. So don't try to quote people, not just quote people, but even for yourself. Don't try to focus on things that matters the least. You have to be right on things that matter the most. Like, you're not the successful investor if you predict 5 dips right on BTC that it dipped, and then you miss all the alt season and coins that do 100x plus. Like, you might call yourself right to fulfill your ego, but you missed a lot of opportunities. So your investing style should focus on being right on things that matter the most. And here's the reply. Well, the thing is that what's the point of being 100% down on any alt instead of just waiting till the Fed cuts and we go through a recession and then buy the coins? Like, the cycle compared to the SPA cycle is different economy. So I reply to this because it's easy to judge now after the fact it happened, but what if it didn't? And what if the coins went up 50x and you never bought them? So here's the wrong process of thinking from this guy that many people do in crypto. So they think about just one scenario without considering what they will lose if they're wrong. And I made an illustration here, so I'll tell you exactly how the smart investors and the successful investors operate versus this kind of comment here. So I have nothing against this guy. That's why I like to actually reply. So it educates him more and actually you more. So here's the thing. Let's say you start here. Your goal is, let's say, to make 100x. I'm just showing some random numbers. Here's the road. My simple investing style is buy the coin and sell at the top. So basically buy the coin and sell at the right time. I don't like to trade. I don't like to jump in a ton of different things. That's it. So let's say I'm right and wrong on many things, but I like to be right and wrong in the road that sends me to my goal, to 100x, not in the road that never sends me here. So here's the problem with the process of how this guy thinks. He thinks that, oh, what's the point of buying alts right now because they're down? Now, it's easy to judge because you saw them down. But the thing is, what if they shoot a 50x and you missed it? If you bought an altcoin and you sold it and that went 50x, you missed it. You're not going never in this goal because you missed the opportunity. But if I buy the altcoins, let's say I bought it in January 2025 and I told people alt season is March. I was wrong, right? So I was wrong on that. But the thing is that I'm still heading to my goal because I never sold. I never told people to sell. And I'm still on the path to get on my goal. What's the cost for me? The cost for me is just this. It's just going to take the road more. So if the road was this and I could have get to my goal, now it's going to take a bit longer because I have to wait more. So this is the cost of me being wrong. Like, if I told you alt season would come in March and I was wrong on that, you have to just wait a bit more. You didn't lose the opportunity. Yes, you might say, yeah, but I could have made much more if you sold. Yes, but what if you sold and it went 50x and it went like this? So the people think always, like, people always want to judge things. The problem is that many investors don't know how to judge things. So you shouldn't focus what you could have done better, because investing game is always something that you'll never be happy with what you achieve. Like, I did 200 extra cycle and I was like, why I didn't do more? You can do 1000x, you'll see guys with 5000x and you'll be like, why I didn't do more? So the problem with the way that many people think is that they think that, what if I did this? But they don't calculate what's the cost. So you should always go in crypto with the scenario that hurts the less. So I told this, staying liquid is playing with fire, because this guy is actually staying liquid. You might save a lot of money and buy back at lower prices, but think about it. This is exactly what I want to get. Would you choose to be the guy that buys at the beginning, like I did, of the cycle and waits probably more than 1 year, but still is on the right to achieve 50x or more on alts? Or would you choose to be the guy that waits for Fed to rate cuts, then decides to buy, and maybe the coins are up and the opportunity is gone? It's not about what you can do better after it happens, because right now he saw what happened and he's always judging after it happens. It's about going with a scenario that got the least damage. So if you think about it, the least damage, what's the scenario? Just waiting a bit more, because you're not selling, you're still getting to your goal. It's just gonna cost more in terms of time. But what if you're wrong on this thing? You buy the coin, you go in a completely different road, and you never get to your goal here. Like, you missed it. This is the damage that you can get in case you do the scenario that the guy told. And this is how many people don't think. They just think black or white. Oh, but alt season never comes, so I'm just gonna stay liquid. Do you understand that if you stay liquid, you can miss life-changing opportunities and never buy back? So that's what you need to understand. And then he kept going about his same narrative, because when you have an argument, people usually want to go with their points only. So first of all, was nowhere near, and all the points. Like, the thing is like this, guys. It's easy to judge something after the move and after you saw it happen. But even if I knew all of these things and alt season would come longer, I would still do the same thing, because this is the way that the smart money thinks and operates. The smart money is never going to risk missing the opportunity that got the biggest upside potential just because they want to make more money. So here's what a lot of people don't do in crypto. Let's say you're starting, right now, you're starting out. I'm going to explain the scenarios here. Let's say you're starting out with 10,000 US dollars, right? So 10,000 US dollars, both scenarios here, 10,000 here, 10,000 here. Sorry for drawing, I'm not good at it. And let's say in your life you just haven't bought a property. So your goal is to make money on altcoins and to buy a property. So by going with the scenario that I told, you can get 2 properties. If that works, of course. If the altcoins go, let's say 50x. So you put 10K and you can buy 2 properties. I'm telling you, which is very important, you never bought a home before. So 2 properties is like life-changing for you. The goal, if you execute this right, is for you to buy 5 properties, right? Let me draw. So if you execute this right, is to buy 5 properties. If you don't, you buy 0 and you're just in the same position. So what do you think is the scenario that makes the most sense? You getting to 2 without actually risking to miss anything, because even if you're wrong, you're in the same path. Just if you're wrong, it's just gonna take you a bit more. It might take 6 months, 5 months, but you're still here. Or this thing that you say, oh, I could have done because I could have bought 5 properties. Like, you're literally broke. You should get here first, not try to aim here. And this is the problem that many people don't get. They try to be like, yeah, but I could have made much more. You're just starting out. You need to go step by step to those things, because if you didn't, the problem is, would you like this? 2 homes or 0? Because if you executed this right, it's amazing for you, don't get me wrong. But the problem is, what if you didn't? What is the damage that you'll cause from the strategy? And this is why I teach all of this with illustration, because I need you guys to understand the process of how smart money and successful investors operates. It's not just about, oh, I could have done this, I could have done that. It's easy always to judge things after they happen, but you should always go with a strategy that makes the most sense in terms of sending you to your goal, that can help you to reach your goal, even by being wrong. Another thing is what I showed you. The thing that I show you with this scenario is something that can illustrate with the scenario. Another thing that might be that I have in mind is something like, for example, so here's the chart. Let's say it's a chart and this is a bull run, right? So a lot of investors, what they do is they buy here, A, and they want to get to their goal, which is point B, right? So here's what I told another scenario to people, which actually correlates with what I shared here. So during the bull run, you might be right on predicting some of those dips. The problem that many investors do is that they go and sell all their stack here. And they'd be like, yeah, I predicted it right. You might do it 2 times, right? You buy, you sell, right, your coins, right? And you'd be like, your confidence get boosted. You'd be like, now I'm a genius because I did it 2 times and it's obvious. Then here, you try to sell and then the market goes like this. And then what happens? You miss a coin that goes, let's say, 30x. So by trying to save some pennies and make more money, let's say you put it 10,000 and during this road you made like 60k, right? Here you are at 60k. While if you just didn't do this, you'd have, let's say, 20k. So you started with 10 and you have just 2x. You'll be like, yeah, but I could have made 60. Good. But here's a 30x. If you missed this, you missed the opportunity to turn 10K to 300K and you got out with 60. So what I tell people that, for example, are good and want to trade and want to predict the market is this. Is exactly the road that I told you. You can be right or wrong, but you need to stay in the same line to get to your goals here, like I told you. Yeah. So here's how smart money operates. The average investor thinks like this, right? And that's the mistake that they do. So the smart money thinks like this. If I know a dip can come here and I put it 10,000, and let's say here I got, just throwing numbers, right? Here I got, or I don't put numbers anyway. I predict this dip, right? So the average investors go and sell all their stack. Well, if you play the game in a whale or successful investors game, you can sell 40% of your stack. So if you got 10K, you sell only 4K, right? You sell 40%. If you execute that right, amazing for you, you can buy at lower prices and you can accumulate more. If you don't execute this right and you're wrong, let's say you're wrong, you'll still on the path to your goal. Because here you actually put it 10,000, you sold 4K and you still got 6K, which yes, it can get you 300K, but it can get you less than that, which would be like, if you put it here, 6K, 30, will got almost 200 for you. But you're still getting to your goal. You're still here on the line. Even if you're wrong, you make money. You see how successful people operate in crypto. They don't go with one scenario selling it all. And here's why I explain also this, so it correlates also with alt season thing. So you have to adopt the strategy that even if you're wrong, you still make money and you still go to your goals. And that's why I teach all of this kind of stuff, because on social media, everyone be like, yeah, you called it wrong, but you don't understand how I operate. You don't understand what I showed you here, and you haven't watched this video. And that's why this is probably one of the most important things that I've shared in the entire, since 5 years in these social media games. And no one is teaching you this kind of stuff. This is real alpha. And if you want more information, I've actually shared a free webinar below where I cover exactly how we did over 200x in the last bull run. And as a bonus, I share also my 3-phase cash out process, how to sell at the right time, because I called the top of the bull run. And everything that I'm teaching, I've done it. It's nothing like everyone that says things, but they haven't done it. They just want to do it, which is a completely different thing. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more.